especially for Victoria's last Creative Mornings. I know she's poured her heart and soul into creating these events. And you know, I facilitate sound experiences. That's what I do for a living, and I don't often have the opportunity to share my story, as Victoria was saying. And so often I get asked, and this morning I got asked about 10 times as I was setting up my instruments, what's the story? How did you start doing this? And so I'm going to tell you. And it's going to go way back to this time. Oh yeah, okay. That's me on the left, the baby. So I was 7 years old, home alone with my two older sisters, when my oldest sister, Jennifer, who was 14 at the time, had her first grand mal seizure. This was only one of the memories that stands out, obviously a strong one. We're just getting right into the heart of the matter. Over the next couple of years, she spent a lot of time in and out of hospitals, but mostly in. And this meant also my family spent a lot of time in and out of hospitals, and mostly in. Which meant a lot of long car rides to and from hospitals. And in my family, that means a lot of singing at the top of your lungs. And we would bring music into the hospital. We brought a Walkman. You guys know what those are? Cassette tapes. With some of my sister's favorite artists, and put headphones on her. And you know, I realized at a very young age that music was not only something that brought us together, but it offered a moment of joy and connection and the ability to transform and shift space, even if it was only for the length of a song. It's Jennifer getting her hair did. So as a young child, adapting to my environment, I began to find ways to stay occupied in those hospitals. I made sculptures and instruments out of feeding tubes and medical tape and sometimes urine trays, not used. The nurses were very careful around me. So I would also make up songs to the beeps and clicks of the machines, you know, heart monitors and things like that, just rocking out. And I was using art and creativity to transform my relationship to the space and bring new meaning to materials and places that are often associated with sickness and death. So exploring with an openness and curiosity, these were my attempts to make sense of what was happening. Such a baby. It was a way for me to find connection. After those couple of years, my sister died on July 8th, 1989, after a 2.5-year battle with lupus cerebrius. She was 16. As a young artist, I began to make work with a medical theme, not surprising. My work was inspired by my sister's life, illness, and death, and I used x-rays and old photos to create interactive multimedia work. I continued to pursue a career as an artist on my way, now making large-scale installations with photo transfers, artist books, and sounds creating multi-sensory immersive spaces where people could come and connect to their own memories of loved ones lost. Now you have to use your imagination. Flash forward to 2002. Really making my way as an artist and working as an artist and musician in New York City. I was awarded a space grant. I don't know what that's called here, but a free studio space to work in as an artist. It was on 42nd Street, right in Times Square. Ooh, that's very impressive in Midtown. It's not my favorite part of New York City. And late one night, I heard a loud banging sound in my studio, which I soon came to realize was the floor giving way beneath me. And before I had a chance to realize what was happening, I was falling from the second floor into the first floor. But this is the most interesting part, because in that moment, time slowed down. And I thought, all right, you are going to die. This is it. So suddenly my life became a catalog that I was flipping through memories, because I thought, you know, what's going to be the last thing to connect to? What's going to be the last thing that I hold on to? So I'm like, oh, my parents, I love them. They've really been through some stuff. Okay. My sister, yeah, she knows. Okay. My boyfriend? Right, I was in a relationship at the time, but maybe I loved my ex-boyfriend more? This is a long time ago. The person I'm married to now is not involved in this story. You know, so all that to say, it was important for me to connect to the most important memory, and then it went black. I didn't die.
Surreal.
Surreal. But that fall left me with a broken back in 4 places, lots of soft tissue damage, no big deal, and temporary paralysis. Amazing. So, laying in a hospital bed for 2 weeks on a morphine drip, all I remember mostly as people were coming in, doctors and friends, was this loop of, this is amazing. You're so lucky. You're gonna be like Frida Kahlo. Right? But let me tell you something. Having a broken back is not as glamorous as Salma Hayek makes it look. And that's why I don't have a picture for you to look at of me in the hospital. I didn't look like her. And so I was released from the hospital with a brace from my hips to my chin, prescription for several painkillers, morphine, Percocet, whatever painkillers are called. Here I had them, but no prescription for physical therapy, and certainly not for psychotherapy. You'd think maybe falling through the floor might require some mind work. But my neurosurgeon said if it hurts, don't do it. So I was like, okay. So putting on a shirt hurts. Standing up hurts. Sitting down hurts. Going to the bathroom hurts. Often breathing hurts. So you can understand my frustration with that. But that's what sent me on a quest. It was a personal quest to heal my body and my mind. And every time I felt relief, I needed to know more. So I explored different modalities with curiosity. And if you name it, I tried it. It took a team of people and over a decade for me to live a relatively pain-free life. And I was exploring these modalities to find a way to make sense of things and to find connection. Same as my 7-year-old self, but probably with a bit more skepticism, folded arms and eyes rolling, but nevertheless, she persisted. And I spent over a decade studying several different types of massage therapy, body work, traditional Chinese medicine, yoga, and eventually, here we are, psychoacoustics and sound therapy. We're getting to it. And the more I worked with sounds, the more I understood that if I accepted sound as vibration, knowing that vibration touches every part of our physical being, then, of course, sound is not only heard through our ears, but through our entire bodies. It has the ability to not only affect our physiology, but our psychology as well. And even on more subtle levels, it affects us also energetically and spiritually. So, sound. Sound became my medium, not only as a form of creative expression, but most importantly, a way to hold space for others. I began facilitating sound baths as an offering that combined my life's experience as an artist and a survivor of trauma, and my diverse studies in complementary and alternative medicine practices. When I began facilitating sound baths, there were about 5 to 7 people each time. Maybe someone would come back because it was a cool experience. But then people were bringing other people. Somebody brought their sister who was going through chemo. Another brought their son who suffered from anxiety. A best friend who lost their father, a coworker who suffered from insomnia. So as the groups grew, I realized there was more to this, and it's that sound not only brings us together, but it's a way to connect around joy and happiness, like at a dance party, but also around pain and suffering too. The connections we're building, and out of those bonds, togetherness, and eventually community is happening when we get vulnerable in these spaces.